Okay, now let's look at cosine. So here's a cosine function. Okay. And we want to be near the origin, but it doesn't go through the origin. So we start at x equals 0, and then we go to the right as far as we can without, as far as we can, keeping it 1 to 1. So that would be from here down to here. If I went any further, it would no longer be 1 to 1. It wouldn't pass the horizontal line test. Same thing here. If I went further left than here, it wouldn't be 1 to 1. It wouldn't pass the horizontal line test. So I have to go to the right here. So this is the piece that we invert, this tiny little piece of this infinitely long cosine function. Right? Because that's 1 to 1, passes the horizontal line test. Just that little piece does. So we restrict the domain to 0 to pi for this one. And if you forget what these restrictions are, you just draw a quick picture and then look at it and reason it out, okay? So it's 0 to pi. The range remains negative 1 to 1, including the endpoints. Okay. And the inverse, when we do the inverse, well, that's the thing we're doing the inverse of. I labeled the endpoints 0, 1 and pi, negative 1. Those will be switched. Those will become, when we do the inverse, we'll get 1, 0 for one endpoint and negative 1, pi for the other endpoint. Right, so this is the cosine, right? Domain 0 to pi and range negative 1 to 1. So here's the inverse, right? Get the endpoints the way I said I would. It's easiest to do the endpoints the way I just did it rather than trying to visualize it. It gets a little confusing. Anyway, it looks like that. So as you can see, and that's called the arccosine of x. As you can see, the domain is negative 1 to 1, and the range is 0 to pi.